Welcome to part 2 of our practical guide on how to buy a home in Los Angeles. Now that we've got motivation, property type, and financing out of the way, it is time to find your perfect place. Hi, I am Matias, and selling real estate in Los Angeles is what I do. There are 4 main options to see homes in Los Angeles: open houses, realtor lockboxes, by appointment or private showings, and with an accepted offer. The last option, with an accepted offer, means that you submit an offer without ever setting foot inside the property. This is mostly used for tenant-occupied multifamily properties, so we don't need to look at that right now. Open houses for buyers are mostly held on Saturdays and Sundays. For private showings, I will set appointments for you that works around your schedules. And when it comes to realtor lockboxes, we have an app on our phones that opens the lockbox using Bluetooth. It's called Supra. In most cases, even before we go out and start looking at properties, our search begins online. While I set up clients for email alerts for properties that match their criteria and even grant them access to an online search portal, I encourage them to keep using Zillow, Redfin, or whatever website they are comfortable with. And when they see something they like, they send me the address and I go to work. A word of warning on Zillow and company. When you request a showing through these websites, they sell your information to agents who purchase leads from them. Or in the case of Redfin, they expect you to work with their Redfin agent. A lot of buyers do not know that. So if you are working with an agent, don't let anyone sell your information. As you visit properties and explore neighborhoods, based on the feedback we collect, we adjust our search accordingly. Most properties are unique and there's way too many variables to discuss. From airplanes flying overhead to not enough storage space. There is no substitute for checking out the inventory. Some buyers know what they want right away, while others take a little bit longer to get in the groove. No matter where you are on the scale, expert guidance will get you to the finish line. Now, a word on price. In a seller's market, meaning when there are more buyers looking to buy than homes for sale, don't search for properties at your price limit. Leave some room for negotiation in multiple offers scenarios. And now that we've found your perfect place, it is time to submit an offer. Before we go any further, we need to talk about the offer's price. How much should you offer? Before we answer that question, we must look at 4 things: the list price, comparable recent sales in the neighborhood, days on market, that's how long the property has been up for sale, and finally, our competition. No matter how we go about it, we must make an informed decision. What I think or what you think the property is worth is not that relevant. In fact, it doesn't really matter what the seller or seller's agents thinks either. Pricing is an art and a science. Sometimes buyers say things such as, "I don't want to overpay for the home." That is certainly understandable. It is human nature. But please keep this in mind. If you don't get this home, someone else will. And after it sells, it will become a comparable sale in the neighborhood. So in a seller's market, the next home for sale may sell for even more. Once we figure out the price, we must turn our attention toward the terms of our offer. If we are submitting a financed offer, we will need time for an appraisal and a loan contingency. That is not always the case, but the vast majority of lenders won't advise you to waive those contingencies. Now, speaking of contingency, a standard real estate contract has many contingencies, but you as a buyer should become familiar with 4. Satisfactory property conditions, that's inspections, documents review and disclosures, appraisal, and loan contingency. But what are contingencies anyway? Simply put, as the buyer, they give you the right to cancel without jeopardizing your initial deposit. Now, as a side note, the most important condition of a real estate sale is probably clean title. but the title insurance company and the escrow company will handle that on your behalf. So never underestimate the importance of title insurance. Remember that in real estate contracts, time is of the essence. What does that mean? It simply means that delays have consequences. The consequence is cancellation or losing the deal. This is why it is important to understand the contingencies, because apart from purchase price, contingencies period are the most important aspect of the contract. These are the contract terms. So generally speaking, the longer the contingency periods, the better it is for the buyer. Conversely, the seller prefers shorter or no contingencies at all. Now, when I say that the longer the contingencies period, the better it is for the buyer, it doesn't mean that the buyer should have a 60 days inspection contingency. Remember, we are all on a timeline. Even the buyer may have locked in an interest rate that will expire after a specific period of time. So closing escrow in a timely manner benefits everyone. As we work on setting up the terms of the contract, this is when we start building our team. To put together an attractive offer, we want to know how much time does the lender need to get an appraisal done. What about processing the loan? Another question is how fast can we get an inspector to the property? We always start with the general inspection, and that will inform us of what other experts we need to get out there. My job is to make sure that everyone is on board and ready to go. We are only as good as the people we work with, period. A lot of things need to go right for a smooth real estate transaction. So this is when we start lining everything up for a successful escrow. Negotiating the offer and possible counter offers can take up a whole video just by itself, but you don't have time for that. You need a home to move into. Let's get your offer accepted and move on to the next step, escrow. This concludes part 2 of our video series on how to buy a home in Los Angeles. Be sure not to miss part 3. Until then, please don't forget that I'm always just a call or click away. If I don't hear from you sooner, I will see you in the next video. Bye!